Well, looky here. You are listening to someone who is bold, authentic, diverse, unpredictable. Baby, I am unapologetically Ramon, and you have entered my zone, the QB zone, baby. Hello, somebody.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Ramon Marquise, and just had to come to you guys just to do a little housekeeping. Other than being a podcast host, I am an author, and I want you guys to bless yourself with one or all, if you want to, of my books. My books are available on Amazon.com, Kindle. You can also get them on iBooks, or you can go to my website, RamonMarquiseOfficial.com. That's RamonMarquisOfficial.com. My first book is entitled District 69, The Crimson Edition. We have District 69, The Color Haven. My third book, District 69, The Greek Chronicles, and those are a collection of short stories. They are not all my stories, because I ain't finna give y'all all my business, but it is a collection of my stories and those of others. My next book is called A Poetic Exhale. It's my first poetry book and my first book to go number one in its category. And then my fifth book, which is my newest book, it is called Icebox, Rebound, and Recover. So go ahead and treat yourself or a loved one or someone you know to any or all of my books. Once again, you can get them on Amazon.com, Kindle, iBooks, or my website, RamonMarquiseOfficial.com.
Rock Legion.
All right.
Well. We're back down to the QB zone today, and I'm very excited for this episode because I'm just here to give my opinion and talk a little shit. Today, with my very special guest, you guys will recognize her from early in the season. It's wonderful Jasmyn Elliott. What's going on, lady?
Hi. Life is good. Can't complain. Happy to be back. Thank you very much for welcoming me back to the Keys box. I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely.
And let's have a talk. Let's chat.
Listen, Jasmyn. So, the name of this episode is going to be Hot Talking Hot Topics because I just
Oh, joy.
exactly. So I really just have a lot of crap I want to get off my chest. Some stuff that
Ooh.
I'm intrigued to know your thoughts, and you know, knowing you over the years, and I've always loved your opinion and commentary. I think we're gonna have a good conversation today.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be so much fun. I can feel it.
So I'm gonna start with the one person who has been all over the media. I have not been able to turn on my TV, pull up any of my social medias without seeing this fool's name.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
So Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because when I was getting my notes together, and I was like, okay, I want to talk about this person, I'll talk about this, I'll talk about this. He was the only person that I had bullet points. So many areas to touch on.
You have like A, B, and C. Oof. I mean, understandably so, because a lot has happened in a very
Very
short
short.
amount of time.
Yeah.
Like it's only been like what? Has it even been a month of his antics? I don't think it's even been that long.
Nope. The for example, the Drink Champs interview, which is where he said a lot of the bullshit, that was just what 2 weeks ago.
And yet it feels like it happened last year at the same time, which is just really odd.
Yeah.
Time is a construct.
So before we get to the present, what I thought was so interesting was, you know, people have talked about Kanye for years and just some of the things that he has said. They have talked about, you know, back when we was in high school and he made the comment about Bush don't like black people.
Yes, that was you and I were in high school at the time. You're absolutely right.
Right. And then, you know, we fast forward, you know, most of us people of color and others, we love him as a rapper. I think he's artistically, he's a genius.
Oh, I will never deny the fact that he is a fantastic rapper, producer, artist. I am never ever going to take that away from him. He's very talented. But also, he has a lot going on mentally, obviously.
Absolutely.
And has been. And I would even say that I know a lot of people think, I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't mean to like
No. Oh, please go ahead.
But like a lot of people are like, oh, ever since his mom passed away, he's been off the rails. I'm like, I think he was kind of going off the rails slightly before that happened.
And it's so funny you said that, because I was having a conversation with a coworker yesterday at work. And I was one of those people who said, I think that over time it got worse, but that I too said it started when his mom died. But she said, similar to what you said, that he's always had this ticky ticky boom boom. People just ignored it.
Yeah, because I think that we kind of just let it ride, partially because in large part because of the music that he was producing, which, like, you know, College Dropout was a soundtrack of my high school year. It's a brilliant album.
Absolutely.
And I think that we made a lot of allowances for him as a culture because he was putting out such great art, and we have, at least I do have, some of the opinion that our artists are just a little touch in the head.
I agree.
They kind of have to be. That's part of the reason why they're great at what they do.
Absolutely.
And I think that we also made allowances for it because he was saying things that we agreed with at the time. Because if you remember the Bush presidency, for a lot of us people of color, wasn't exactly like a hip hip hooray time, and we had a lot of misgivings about the Bush administration. So for him to like say like, oh, Bush doesn't care about Black people on national television, we're like, yeah, I remember that this is during a Hurricane Katrina drive. I remember that it was specifically during that, and we all know the absolute hot mess that was. And, you know, rest in peace to all the lives that were lost, and there are still people affected to that to this day, but I digress. So like we were seeing all of that play out in the news, and then for him to say George Bush doesn't care about Black people, we're all like, yeah, go Kanye. But on the same token, it's like that was kind of indicator that he doesn't have a lot of I guess boundaries.
And that was like live TV.
Yeah, and on live television. So like there was like no stopping him. And even when he stormed in another incident, when he stormed the stage when Taylor Swift was accepting her MTV VMA award, saying Beyonce had the best video of all time. It's like we're all laughing at it, but at the same time, it's like, do you really have no inhibitions, do you? And now, as the years have gone by, we're seeing it play out in real time.
And you know, it's so funny you brought up that, because I love award shows. And so I remember when that happened, and I was like, oh my God, he did it again. Because prior to that, a lot of people don't know, but MTV has like a Europe award show. MTV European, whatever.
Oh yeah, and like he lost to like some band.
And he did it to them.
Yeah, and he was livid. I remember hearing about that. I didn't see it happen, but I do remember hearing the story about that.
I was watching that, and I was like, and I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad for them, right? And then when he did it to Taylor, and you know, I've never been a Swiftie, I'm still not. But I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's due respect, and I felt so bad for her, because at that time she wasn't the Taylor Swift we know her to be recently.
Yeah, like her career was like it was like on the upward trajectory, and so like that was her moment, and he stole it from her, and that wasn't right. Like even if you absolutely hated her music, that's not time and a place, man. Like you could think that all you want, but like to ruin a watershed moment for her, that was pretty low.
Then we all know he famously no longer had a relationship with Jay-Z. And I'll never forget, he was doing a concert, and one of his many rants, like Kanye does, he talks about how when Kim had the robbery over yonder, that they never called or checked on her, and like, they're not their lady friends. I'm confused. What did you? First of all, you and Jay had not long been friends for a while at that point.
Yeah, they'd have been like years, plural, by then.
They're not friends with Kim. And how did you expect to hear from him and Beyonce, especially Beyonce? How did you expect to hear from these people?
I remember that. It's like, you need to call me and talk to me on the phone like we're brothers. I'm like, y'all haven't been like friendly acquaintances for some time now, let alone brothers. And I could kind of see how he might have been hurt by that, because like even if we're beefing, like at least check on me, but he really had no obligation to at the same time. Exactly. So it's like, maybe lower your expectations just a little bit. But yeah, just insert rant here when it comes to Kanye, which is just, it's like on the one hand, you know, us, like we both have like backgrounds in social work, and so we've seen like the worst of society, right?
Yeah.
And so, and also a lot of people who have mental illness, and unfortunately it plays out in really destructive ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm putting my like social work hat on for a moment here. It's like, on the one hand, I do feel a lot of compassion for him because he is not well, has not been well for a long time.
Right,
And
right.
clearly he's surrounding himself with people that are not invested in his actual best interest,
Correct.
because controversy sells and it gets attention, and attention is the new currency these days. So I'm guessing, if I had to guess, he's probably surrounded by a lot of yes people who are just kind of let him while out. So on the one hand, I feel terrible for him, but on the other hand, this is both and, I feel immense compassion for him, and I do think he should be held accountable for his actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think when it really started to bother me, because for so long, with him and his foolishness and the stuff he would say,
I
even
mean,
when,
the slavery is a choice thing, which don't get me
oh
started.
girl, hold on, I'm gonna get to that.
Oh God.
Even when he mentioned,
Maybe I should pour myself a drink for this episode.
listen, I live. Even when he called himself want to support Trump, I still was like Kanye West and his antics, but I can separate the man from his art. As long as
I'm
you
not
ain't
like
doing
I at this point. I'm like,
right,
with that whole. It's like, I'm not concerned with who you vote for. Like, okay,
right.
fine. Like,
As
that's
long
fine.
as my celebrities that I am a fan of, as long as they not doing no Bill Cosby, R. Kelly shit, I can separate your art from your demons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Kim get divorced, and he's blasting her. I feel personally it's going to be very traumatizing for these kids to see their daddy acting the way he's acting, talking about their mama.
Right, because if he's doing all of this in the public eye, what the heck is happening behind closed doors that we don't know about? Because if he's doing all this like in front of us with like
Yeah,
absolutely no shame, I'm like, what the heck happened in their marriage that we don't know about?
correct.
Which I'm sure we will find out at some point, because these are the Kardashians after all. And the day that
Correct.
Kim decides to drop a
A book.
memoir,
Yeah.
I can see it coming. And
Mhm.
not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna be one of the first people to pick up a copy, because I really
I
need to know what
am.
the heck happened.
I want to know
I'm not
all
even
about it.
ashamed of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even ashamed.
It, 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 your we're in a day and age where everything is documented because of social media,
Everything.
because of the internet,
Listen.
because of reality
Mhm.
TV. What are you gonna say to first of all, your oldest child is old enough to know what the fuck going on. North or
Oh
west
yeah,
of the
North
age?
is pro, and these kids, like, we underestimate children so much and think, oh, they're completely oblivious.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Mm-mm.
They pay very close attention, and they watch everything that we do.
Yeah. I feel bad for those kids because when they and I'm pretty sure they might be picked on at school. Just
Oh
the
gosh.
trauma that he is putting these kids through. Because at the end of the day, we're not saying Kim is innocent or she wrong, but Kim ain't doing shit publicly. That's gonna traumatize her kids. You
Mhm.
are blasting this girl, saying such nasty things about the woman that you chose to marry, the woman you chose to have kids with, and your kids are gonna see this. This is crazy to me. And I just feel so bad the way he traumatized and harassed her, traumatized and harassed Pete Davidson. Like this dude, like leave these people alone. Like
Like,
what in the hell is wrong with you?
and the thing is, I would think that, with a marriage like that, was Kim's longest marriage. So I'm
It
gonna
was.
guess that she really, really tried to make this work. Because,
Mhm.
like, with her other marriages, it's like blink it was over. But she stayed with him for years and years. So it's like, oh, what she must have had to go through in order to even attempt to make any kind of sense of this. And she just had enough,
I think
which
so.
is understandable. And it sucks. I mean, like, marriage for rich or for poor, for sickness and health, is only so much that a person can take, especially if, like, God forbid, her life is in danger. Understandable.
Hello. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and come. I just want to get that background stuff up
Mhm.
because that was all the stuff that I was able to
And this is just not
ignore
even, this isn't even the main point.
at all. I just want to
Oh,
discuss this stuff because this was the stuff that I was able to ignore and still be a fan of his. I'm struggling now where we have, and you can unpack this in whatever order you want. We have the
okay.
slavery comment. We have with this really pissed me off, the George Floyd comment. We
Oh,
have the anti-Semitic, the comment about the Jews. And what I thought was crazy was I remember maybe 2 weeks ago having a conversation with someone, and we were saying, how is it that Kanye can do and say such horrible things and
I think
never gets canceled?
mm-hmm.
It seems as if every time he does or says something, people are still flocking out to buy his ugly shoes and ugly clothes. We're still putting money in his pockets. And I felt like, what is it about him that other celebrities, black, white, Spanish, whatever, being canceled for a hell of a lot less? And then fast forward 2 weeks, everybody's fucking canceling and severing ties with this man. I just want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, I think I know where you're going with this without like saying it without saying it, but I think it has to do with like a history of like not having that united response from the jump. It's like we made so many allowances for him over at this point almost decades at this point.
Right.
We made a lot of allowances for his behavior and his antics, again, in exchange for the art that he produced. But again, he just hit a wall and messed with the wrong people, if you catch my drift.
Absolutely.
And I'll go ahead and say it. I have to admire the Jewish people for this, because anytime anybody comes from them, they have a united front, all on one accord. Absolutely. We're not standing for this, and they drop the hammer. Our people, not the greatest at that. It's like not the greatest at that at all. It's like we argue amongst ourselves versus this is okay. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And we're always looking for nuances and outliers and excuses for really terrible behavior that should have been, for lack of a better term, canceled a long time ago. So that the thing is, like, we kind of set the standard with that one. And so that's why the results were as they were. It's like he could continue talking smack about us because there was no united response to his foolishness. And then the day that there was, now he's being dropped like a hot potato by Balenciaga, Adidas, The Gap. Goodness knows.
All the athletes from his
they like
dropped him. His sports agency.
And that's what it is. And I think that it's not until we get to that point where it's like, listen, we have a standard that we set as a people that no, you cannot talk smack about us and disrespect us and expect us to be cool with it. It's like we haven't gotten to that point yet as a people. So until we do, we're going to continue having these arguments amongst ourselves when the next person does some out-of-pocket nonsense.
Because I can honestly, I don't feel bad for him.
I mean, as far as his money is concerned, no.
Right. The mental health stuff.
His mental health, I feel awful.
I feel bad for him. I really feel bad for him.
But as far as the consequences for his actions, no.
I don't. Right.
No, there's nothing to feel bad about. You did something that wasn't cool. You barked up the wrong tree, and these are the natural consequences of your actions, and you're gonna have to take them.
So when
none of us are immune to that.
When he made that slavery comment, what was going through your mind when you heard that?
I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it was absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And I had to watch the video a couple of times. I'm like, did he really just say?
And what was
say that? Like it was a very like Twilight Zone moment. And I'm like, this man really just said that slavery was a joke. Oh Lord. And it's like, I don't even like, where do you even begin to unpack that? But then I'm looking at him. And I'm like, he is completely dead behind the eyes. The lights are on, but nobody's home. And it's like we know the look. We've seen that look with our clients when it's like somebody is like mentally checked out and there's just no light behind his eyes. That again, like I'm looking at miles and miles of tape and I'm like, ooh, this has been happening for a minute. And but my first question is like, and this is my big question for any of these celebrities, public figures, whatever you want to call them, that go on like this free thinker journey that everybody seems to be on since 2016.
Right.
And we all know what happened in 2016. How is it that you guys are all of a sudden liberated thinkers and, oh, I'm going to think for myself and come up with my own viewpoint of the world? How do all of you somehow end up racist and anti-Semitic at the same time? Are you really thinking free? Like all of you, like you go on this journey, you all end up at the same destination. So I'm like, what's really happening here?
I agree. Yeah, it's like for a lot of people, I do feel there are some people who are genuinely woke, generally free thinkers. But for some, I feel like it's a trend. It's a
It
bandwagon,
has to be.
something to be a part of.
Right. And it's like, this is not the move right now, because I'm sure that in a couple of years, there's going to be some other like new agey something or other bandwagon that people are going to jump on. And then it's going to be those same people who were like the free thinkers are going to go into that bandwagon because they just have no sense of self and they just kind of blow with the wind.
And as damaging and traumatizing as the George Floyd situation was to the world.
Like there were global protests over that.
Yes.
Global.
How do you fix your mouth to say? I don't even want to repeat it, but how do you
I refuse
to say what you said? What was you think? What was going through your mind? I was hurt for the family.
I'm not sure that he was thinking at all. You can't be. Like, you cannot possibly be thinking at all to say something stupid like that. And on top of that, there's like actual documented evidence that that's not what it was.
How many times
it's
saw the damn video?
Like how many? Yeah. To be honest with you, this is my free thinker journey. I have stopped following accounts that show Black trauma. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because not that I'm saying that I want to be ignorant of it and completely ignore it and say that it doesn't exist. I am very, very aware that this exists. But when you start seeing these images over and over again, it's like, okay, why exactly are you showing this? Are you showing this to raise awareness? Or is this because there's a
form of control?
There's a fine line between raising awareness and trauma porn.
Correct.
You know? And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to constantly be bombarded with these images.
It's traumatizing every time you watch.
Every time you see it. And it's like, yeah, there are a lot of terrible things happening to our people. There's also a lot of good things too.
Right.
And those don't get featured nearly as much. So it's like, I'm wondering what the intention truly is behind sharing those images on a almost on a 24-hour basis. It's a little.
And why is it when we're the victim? Because
always.
Whenever they're the victim, you might see the video one damn time.
One time. And then the rest of it is like pictures of their smiling face and how they lit up the room and so on and so forth. But
they're so protected.
And very protected. But us, it's like you see us bloodied, bruised, literally just saw George Floyd die on camera, which is just crazy. It's like, yeah, I honestly haven't watched the George Floyd clip. I won't watch it. I never watched it in full. I watched maybe like the first 2 minutes of it, but I'm like, I cannot watch the snuff film. It sickens me that it happened.
It's horrible. So when it first came out, the version of the video that I saw was it was from far away. So I didn't really see what happened that we know, I didn't see that in the first video. Then, and I don't want to get it wrong, but CNN, because I don't watch Fox News. So it had to be CNN or MSNBC. One of them posted footage. So where it happened at, I want to say it was a Chinese restaurant behind it or across the street, but the camera outside of it had a very perfect and clear extended view of what happened. And I watched it and I was speechless. It broke my heart just like everybody else. And I couldn't watch it anymore. Like, I've never seen that video again. I've only seen it one time. I could never watch it again.
I think that once is enough.
Yeah. So them replaying it, yep, turn the channel. Or social media, nope, keep scrolling. And then, like you said, so many other accounts have happened since then where we've seen the video footage. And I read the caption first. Yeah, I don't want to watch this. I keep scrolling. After George Floyd, I don't want to see another traumatic thing again.
Yeah, and also I really side-eye news media in general because, again, like playing all this traumatic stuff, it's like, again, what is really your intention? Are you doing this to inform me? Or is this for attention? Because they played that George Floyd film ad nauseum across multiple news channels. But of course, whenever this footage gets played, what follows it? Commercials.
Right.
Which is just crazy to me. Like, if you really think about it.
And it's sad because, we can be killed by any of them or by anybody. And
anybody, yeah. It could have a blink of an eye.
Yeah, they're exploited. We're always treated and viewed as less than. but one of them can go and shoot up a school. I'm gonna use Parkland as example since we're down here in South Florida. He takes his ass in that school and do what he did. And they protected him when they came to arrest him. They treated him with care. They treated him delicately when he was arrested and was marched off the school. If that was a black person, they would have shot him as soon as they saw him.
Oh yeah, Swiss cheese, straight up. He would have never walked out of that building alive.
If we don't even move how y'all want us to move, you're gonna shoot us. He shot a whole bunch of people, and you didn't feel the reason to shoot his ass. And, let's protect him. He has mental health. He's just in the third. But then a black person, oh, he's an animal. He's da-da-da-da-da. What?
Welcome to America.
Yeah. Do you think that what's happening to Kanye is going to be short-lived? Do you think that it is going to be happen? It's going to last for a very long time? Do you think he'll ever come back from this?
That's really hard to say right now. I mean, I honestly don't know. I hope that he has a come to Jesus moment, like a real come to Jesus moment, and gets his act together, because this is like the start. Like, we're seeing all of this like bombastic stuff as far as his brand partnerships, so on and so forth. But now comes into play the more important things as far as his family, his children. If he's deemed like complete, like truly unsafe, then he can really lose what little access to his family he does have.
Correct.
Because now it's all on tape that he's unstable and can't be trusted.
And there's so many examples.
And so too many examples to count at this point. Yeah. God forbid Kim tries to take him to court of law, because if she does, it's a wrap.
Yeah. It ain't like it was just the Drink Club interview. You went on this show, and that
you have you have multiple. And also, to the people who were interviewing him, why? What? You are seeing, like, all of you have seen this play out in real time. You know that he's not all the way right, and your response to this is, let me have him on my show.
He's good click. He's, as from a business standpoint,
it's all clickbait. Again, it's all attention.
And viewers equals dollar signs. He's not smart. He's not smart enough to see that. And once again, we know he has mental health, because my thing is, these people are not allowing you on their show because they like you or they're fans.
No.
They're using you. They're exploiting you.
Exactly.
And he literally has no one. It's evident, like you said earlier, he literally has no one in his corner but yes men. You have these bloggers and these other rappers who are all up his ass and yay Kanye. But then once again, you have some people like Def Jam no longer distributes his good music record label. Recently, I read that. Yes. What's the child name? Lord forgive me. Tiana Taylor.
She distanced herself fast.
Wants to retire because of the bad deal that he gave her. John Legend. It was another celebrity. Big Sean. These are people who have detached themselves from this man, and it's like, well, and you're no longer a billionaire status, because let's be clear. And I was telling one of my coworkers this: being worth $1 billion and having $1 billion is two different things.
Two different things. Just because you're worth $1 billion does not mean that you have $1 billion in your bank account. Those are two different metrics.
Correct. So he's no longer billionaire net worth. I want to I'm just curious to see what's gonna happen, because I've always felt like he was a train wreck, and it was just a matter of time before that train was going to crash. And I feel like it's crashing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, when you have mental health issues like that remain unchecked and untreated, and you're not surrounded with people that actually care about you, not the stuff that you produce, not the money that you make, not the attention that you get for them, or none of the other fame or whatever nonsense, care about you as an actual human being, then yeah, you're gonna. It's very self-destructive, and it is sad to watch. Like, I feel bad for him in that respect. So either one or two things is going to happen. Either A, this is going to be his wake-up call, and he's going to turn it around somehow, or B, he is really going to have to hit full, like, ground zero, rock bottom for him to truly get it.
Because a part of me feel like he's not remorseful. A part of me feel like he hasn't learned the lesson. Even with all of these brands detaching themselves, I don't think it's clicked. I don't think it bothered him.
It's not clicked.
Remember when Chase Bank is one of the ones who.
Oh yeah, how do you get banned from a bank
as a celebrity?
Like, what?
Jeez,
you had to mess up
Yeah.
Bad
But
for
then
the
he
bank
takes
to
his
say,
money.
we don't want your money.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But then he takes his money and he puts it into whatever crypto, whatever the hell kind of crap he did, Bitcoin, whatever it was. Then remember when his last album came out, I guess instead of him releasing it like most artists do, and it can be on the Billboard charts or whatever, he used some type of platform to release his last album, and it was unable to track record sales, but all the money he recouped 100%. So I feel like every time someone puts a obstacle in his way, he finds a way to get
Way to
around
kind of get
it.
around it.
But I don't think he's going to be able to do this because literally no one wants to fool with you or be associated with you. And even the people who may agree with you, they're not going to waste their business associating with your ass.
No, because they don't want to lose their money.
No. And you've pissed off not just a lot of people, but you pissed them off in a big way. It's not like the baby situation where
No.
those comments at Rolling Loud, and I think they were forgivable comments and forgivable actions. It's not on that level.
No. This is on like C-suite level. Like you're ticking off like whole CEOs and like presidents of multi-billion-dollar companies now, which is not a game that I recommend anybody ever playing.
Right, because the more
because those
powerful.
kind of people have like a lot of power, and that can really jack you up. Like, not a good that's like blackballing status, and that's not a good place to be ever.
Yeah, and people with power.
Speaking of blackballing, since we gave Kanye so many chances, can we uncancel Chrisette Michele, please? Can we finally uncancel her? Can we forgive her finally?
So
I think this is a little ridiculous.
So here's my thing with that. I not a big fan of the cancel culture. Let me explain why. I feel as if we are punishing people for having a mind of their own. We're punishing people for expressing their rights. We're punishing people for making mistakes. But yet when we make mistakes, we want to be forgiven. So
it's like extend the grace that you want to receive,
Hello.
That's all.
So even if she chose, for whatever reason, and she's publicly talked about her reasons.
She's publicly talked about her reasons, said she was sorry multiple times. The girl sang a blasted song.
And I didn't have issue. I didn't take issue with her. I never stopped being a fan of hers.
But the fact that people came down on her so hard for singing a blasted song.
Yeah.
She wasn't at a rally.
She wasn't at a rally. She wasn't donating money. She just sang a song.
Sang a song.
And took her ass off.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
And went about her business, and then all hell broke loose. But then Kanye and his stupid self, I'm trying not to cuss, but Kanye and his foolishness, Kanye's just being Kanye. So yeah, if I say nothing else of value on this show today, hashtag uncancel Chrisette Michele. Come home, girl. Come home, girl.
I agree. We as a culture, we did her wrong.
We did her so dirty.
We did a horrible disservice to her.
Yeah.
And not only just that, I felt bad for her too, because she has mental health that she was open with prior to that situation. And I can imagine how that hurt her. I can only imagine how she regressed with her mental health because of how bad we did her as a culture.
Yeah.
And one of the things she brought up was, do you think part of it is also sexism? Because
I think so. Definitely.
I think it was Travis Green, the gospel artist.
Yes, I love him.
He performed. We didn't make a big deal about him. He released albums, #1 gospel albums, hit records. We did nothing to him as a culture. But why did
nothing? His church is thriving. He is doing his thing, and he's for what it's worth, he's a masterful preacher. He's very good.
He really is.
He's very good. But we didn't hear a peep, not a word for him.
Nope.
But then her, the betrayal, and then her career is essentially over. But I think we're way past time to uncancel Chrisette Michele. And also, I miss her voice. She's a talented lady. She could sing her face off.
Amazing. And I just think the cancel culture is personally for the crap, because if we was to shine light on some of the shit that we do behind closed doors, what some of our asses would start to be canceled.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So I was here at home, minding my business like I'm prone to do. I try to do it at least. And I'm scrolling on social media. I think I had just woken up from a good nap.
Mm.
And I saw something on Facebook about a low vibrational plate, but I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So I was like,
Oh,
what is
gosh.
let me keep scrolling. I'm
Here we
finna watch
go. We're getting to the fun
I'm
part.
gonna watch TV. I didn't know what the hell that was. And I didn't even care enough to Google. I was just,
Like,
I'm finna go watch.
okay.
So I kept seeing about it on my Facebook news. I'm like, what is this vibrational crap, right?
There we
So
go.
because I'm doing, my stuff with my book and different things, I'm on social media talking, I started to see videos of this woman who is referred to as Coach Stormy. And I never heard of her, didn't know who the hell she was, nothing about her. And I got tired of just hearing all this low vibrational, all this bull crap. I'm like, let me see why people are so upset with her. Dr. Heavenly, who is someone I follow, she's on the cast
Oh,
of
yes, Married to Men,
Married to
right?
Medicine.
Medicine. Oh, gosh.
I'm a big fan of her. I like to watch her blog and her YouTube channel. And so she was doing an interview, and I was like, oh, this is a 1 hour, around a 1 hour interview. I said, this should give me a lot of insight on who this woman is. I know Heavily gonna ask the right questions. I want to know why people are so mad at her.
This eye roll tells me everything I need to know. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
You know how you know how people say, when people serving you something, you take the meat and the potatoes, or you take what works for you and go about your business, right? You may not eat everything on the plate that's offered. It's like going to a buffet. I'm not going to eat everything you offer, but what works for me, I'm going to get. So let me just say, when I watched the interview and I heard this woman talk and explain herself, she's, her background, where she comes from, what motivates her. Not to say that I agree with everything or her approach, but because I am someone who people have issues with in regards to their tone and how I may express myself, I empathize with her. One of the things she said is that, and I want you to please share whatever your thoughts are. One of the things that stood out to me was that she stated that this young lady was one of her clients, and that's how she talks to her clients. If it was regular stranger on the street or just someone she didn't know or someone that she didn't work with like that, she wouldn't care two shits when it said nothing, allegedly. So she said, because this is someone that is her client and she had been working her for X amount of years, and she talked about in this interview this journey from, basically being poor and having nothing, and to be where she's at now, that this is why she's so hard on her clients like she is. Now, I consider myself to be, a person of quality. However, when I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat what I want and how I want to eat it, and I may plow my shit on top of each other, and that's my business. Talk to the people, Jasmyn. What you got to say about this situation?
Okay, so I know exactly the video that you're referring to and how she was like, my first pet peeve with this. Here are my bullet points. I didn't even take notes, but I have bullet points for this one. First of all, how are you going to lick your whole finger? Like the whole thing from the rooter to the tutor, like the whole thing, and then point at somebody else's plate and criticize them. That's number one. Because first of all, gross. Like, ma'am, number one. And if this is supposed to be your way of teaching somebody how to be classy, I might not want to start with that. Number one. And number two, she's harping about all this low vibrational food and this, and that, and the other. But ma'am, couple things. One, they paid her some crazy sum, like $10,000 for this retreat. That's number one, for to be there. And you took those people's $10,000 a pop, and this is your event. So I'm assuming that you have some control over what's being served.
Correct.
So if you wanted people to have high vibrational plates, then how about you have high vibrational offerings to pick from?
And not even to
Because
cut
I'm
you
looking.
off, what I thought was crazy was
Mhm.
in her interview with Dr. Heavenly, you know, she said this was my event, but I didn't know what was on the menu. How the fuck you paid your
How
money
do
for
you
your
know
place and you didn't know
it's
what was on
your
your menu?
event? That no, if it's your event, especially if it's at a hotel, you get to choose those things. Like they
That's what
give you
made no
options and
sense to
you
me.
check and you check. And also, like I'm looking at her plate, I'm like, I don't see a color like a fruit nor a veg on your plate either, sweetheart. It's just literally a smaller portion
Of what
of
she
that low vibrational food that you're fixing your mouth to criticize this other woman with.
right.
So I'm like, so what exactly is the point? Like where are we going with this? And yes, I understand that some coaches, which when it comes to the coaching profession, it's like it's really hit or miss. Like you have some amazing people who are wonderful coaches. I had a life coach myself. I'm still in touch with her. Hi, Nina. I hope you watch this. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. But with coaching profession, it's like it can be very hit or miss because you can have some amazing coaches that really change your life, like a Tony Robbins style
Right.
intervention style. And like, mind you, he uses harsh language too, but it's never in a way that disrespects the person.
Correct.
That's
It's a big
that's the
difference.
takeaway. Like, yeah, he'll drop some F bombs here or there, but he never calls one of the people that he's coaching like an effing idiot or anything like that. And therein lies the difference. Like you can have a strong, tough love approach to your clients that are paying you 5 figures for them to help for for you to help them fix their life without disrespecting them as people. And that's where I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
not sure that what you're trying to accomplish is actually getting done.
Correct.
Because if you're trying to teach these women to respect themselves and hold themselves to a higher standard, and I believe that she's like somewhere in like the relationship realm, which correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
and like pick men that respect them. How exactly are you teaching them that by disrespecting them yourself?
And publicly.
In
And
publicly
what
on
bothered
top
me
of
was
that.
in the
And there's
interview.
another video which I'm not going to repeat what you said, but her apparently this particular person's mother just died. Woman's mother just died, and she
Oh
really
wow.
just said some really sideways stuff. And I'm like, okay, listen.
Mhm.
Like if you're going to have that tough love approach, then it needs to be rooted in love first, because otherwise you're just a jerk
Absolutely.
and highly overpaid. So yeah, she might have, got it out the mud and that's all well and good. And all of us have struggled with something in our lives,
Exactly.
but that's no excuse for you to treat people like crap, claiming that you're trying to fix their lives. Because clearly, if they're coming to you to build themselves up, they're already experiencing that level of disrespect
Hmm.
already for
Hmm.
free. So I
Right.
don't see, so there's no, so what exactly are they supposed to get out of you paying $10,000 for you to continue the same pattern that they're trying to break out of and trying to break out of by coming to you? You get me?
Right.
Like I would imagine that as a coach, you're trying to show them a different way, not perpetuate the same crap that they're going through and then
Mhm.
calling it tough love.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
And what I thought was crazy was when I watched the interview with her and Dr. Heavenly,
Yeah.
she actually mentioned that she knew it was being filmed because she had the camera people was walking by. She called, and she says it in the interview, she called them over there.
I have to watch this interview. Oh, am I ready for? Am I mentally ready
Yeah,
for this? Oh
she
my
she
gosh.
walks, she had them come over there. She knew they were there. So my whole thing is, even if you felt the need to check her
Or
in
correct or
or
whatever. It's
correct
like
her,
you're
why did it have to be filmed and why was it released? Because that could have been something you kept private between you and your clients. Even if your
right.
approach works for them, that's fine. If that's your approach and they receive
Listen,
it,
if you want to pay
that's
ten
between
thousand
you and
dollars to
them.
have somebody yell at you for having a hot dog and a hamburger on your plate, you go on right ahead. I am
Right.
not going to count your money.
But
But
why?
why do I need to know about it?
Right.
I don't
Like,
need to know about that. I
no
wasn't
reason for
there.
you to call that cameraman over there to film what you premeditatedly knew what you was about to do, and
Mm-hmm.
then you released it. You clearly gave
For
that to
attention,
somebody.
because then
Yeah.
now she's on, and it's all for attention ultimately. And it's like you didn't absolutely like none of this had to do with this girl having
Mhm.
like this stuff on her plate. This was
Correct.
all a ploy to get our eyes on you, and wouldn't you know, it's working because here we are talking about her.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Exactly.
mm,
Um. Listen, I love seafood. I tend to enjoy seafood more than I do chicken. I
same.
love me some good
Yes.
old shrimp and some lobsters and some crabs. I might go get some shrimp tonight. But nonetheless,
Okay, go
I
for it.
love, huh?
Go off.
I love seafood. But what was interesting to me How in the hell all the colors done ate up all the people crabs? These people got a whole goddamn shortage of crabs. First, it was Alaskan crabs. I said, okay, cool.
Just the one, but it's like crabs across the board now. Like all of them.
Yes. So initially it was just Alaska. Now the blogs and the news articles are reporting it's a overall crab shortage. So you tell me these Maryland crabs and all these like what? That's crazy.
Your cousins
Like
too?
no crab.
Jeez.
I know we black folks love our crab boils. Are we having that many crab boils that what?
Either that or something's really jacked up with the ocean because there's no way. I saw that I saw with the snow crabs, there was like a 90% like population drop, like something crazy, some crazy high number like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing something must be in the water.
If y'all
it has to be.
If you don't,
I know we didn't eat that many blessed crabs. There's no way.
And why we can't go import something from another country? All these seafood restaurants and we ain't got no goddamn crab. The devil's alive. And the holiday season coming up.
Oh man.
Find me some crab somewhere. I want some butter, garlic, and seasoned hot sauce.
I don't know if it's happening for us this year, man. Maybe better luck in 2023.
I thought it was a joke. Did you believe it? What did you think when you saw it?
No, I thought it was a joke too. And then I saw it on like NBC. I'm like, oh, this is a real news story. I seriously thought that it was a meme, like making fun of us and like, you know, our love for seafood. Well, I know not all Black people, whatever, but to most of us,
of course,
most of us, the vast majority of us, and our love for seafood. So when I saw it pop up on a news story at NBC, I'm like, oh, we really messed up this time, didn't we?
That's how we know it's serious. When it was MSNBC, I think I read it on ABC News, their website. That's how I saw it. I was like, oh, wow, this is beyond just a blog. Y'all really ate up all the people crabs.
I guess we're gonna have to take a break this year, man. I don't like it either. Mind you, I actually just had some crabs last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. I mean, they cost an arm and a leg, not gonna lie. But
I had some this weekend. One of my line brothers had a baby shower and they had this crab. This seafood, oh, Jesus, was so amazing. I was so mad I forgot to get a doggy bag.
I was so mad. Slipping.
And they had this. It was just a lot of good food. Shout out to Brandon and Shalisha.
Baby shower food is the best food.
Oh my God, the best.
Always.
And I'm gonna make this comment because they married and this one apply to them. I remember seeing on Facebook how they was social media somewhere where they were saying wedlock, baby shower wedlock. Let me see, how can I say that? Baby shower food for babies out of wedlock be having the best food.
It's the truth. Those barbecue meatballs, I'm dreaming about them right now. Listen, every single time.
Yeah. And I was just like, wait a minute. A lot of baby showers I've gone to, the babies are out of wedlock and the food be fucking off the chain.
Every single time.
Amazing. Now their food was amazing. They're married. But yeah, I laughed when I saw that.
Because it's the truth. Yeah. I mean, listen. Don't blame us, blame the culture.
Listen, hello. I love kids. Anybody who knows me know I love kids. And you know, my grandparents raising me and just give me all that time and attention. I was the only child. And so I know it can be stressful when you have multiple kids, right? And especially if you're a working professional, you're already spread thin if you're working a lot and you're in a relationship. So then when you add kids to the equation, I can only imagine how thin you're spread, right? And so at first I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He got all the money. He knew what he wanted to do. Then after about the fourth or fifth one, I was like, this is a little concerning and triggering for me. Nick Cannon, if I'm not mistaken, has now 11 kids.
I'm sorry, 11? I thought it was 10.
No, baby,
the fact that we're losing count is absolutely is crazy. The fact that we lost count is bananas.
Yes.
Number one.
Because another heifer pregnant. So he finna have 11.
Another one?
He finna have 11.
Does he need a kidney or something? Like, what is he doing?
I just know if I was Mariah goddamn Carey, I'd be at home like, Jesus, why is this the man you chose me to have kids with? Like, so here's my issue with it, right? Initially, when he started having kids, I was like, okay, whatever. He got money. He works hard. You know, whatever. That's when it was like 4 or 5. My concern and the triggering point comes from the fact that, and it could be just my own experiences from childhood or just a social worker had, is that you have multiple kids by multiple mothers. Mariah and one of these other girls are the only two that you have more than one child with. So they have siblings together that they're being raised on the same roots with, right? Everybody else has a different mama. So we're talking 11 kids and has to be 8 or 9 different baby mamas.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
When you talk about raising a kid and being present in a child's life, there is absolutely no way possible. I don't care how great of a person he is. It is absolutely impossible for Nick Cannon to be the father he needs to be for these kids when they're so spread out. Unless you're going to do some Mormon, whatever shit they do in Utah.
Leaving a commune and bring them all together.
Unless you're going to build some kind of big-ass estate and have them all living there, which I'm sure you're not, because I know Mariah ain't taking her ass over there. Or
Mariah's not going. She's not going.
Or you're going to put them all under one roof, which once again, Mariah still ain't going to do that because she got more money than all y'all. What the fuck she going to do that for? These kids are going to have problems because you're going to have kids that, depending on where their mother is, where they're located at, depending on your relationship with the mother, they're going to get more of your time. All these kids are around the same age. So when you talk about going to school and being involved in sports and being involved in activities, there's going to be stuff on the same goddamn night. This child lives in this state, this child lives in that city, and you're only one person. I find it personally selfish of him to have continued to have all these kids because it is, I don't care how much money he has, it's impossible for him to be the father he needs to be for these kids. And that is selfish to me.
That is irresponsible as all get out. And you know what? You ever watched Y'all Fix My Life?
Oh, loved it.
Loved it. I'm so sad that she ended it because that was my.
I don't even watch
TV like that, but that was my jam. I did not miss an episode of that. But do you remember the episode that she had? It was like a 2-parter. It was the episode of a man who had like a bunch of kids, and then she did his follow-up episode, like people like interviewing like more fathers in that same situation. Yep. I just vividly remember that scene where she's handing him like the baby dolls that represents like a child. He's like, oh, hold this one too. And he had like 30 something kids. And like, she's like, you can't hold on to all of them. And that's literally what's happening with Nick. But I also, and this might be touchy subject for some people, but I'm going to say it. It takes 2 to tango also.
Oh, absolutely. These women
it takes 2 to tango. Because like, but it's like, mind you, like, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not married. I don't have any children of my own. But it's like, if I were to meet somebody, it's like, okay, you have a couple of kids. Okay, that's fine. You're living your life. But if I'm talking to somebody, I found out you have like multiple baby mamas and multiple children. That's no, not how.
As a woman,
like I can't. Like, I don't want to judge anybody for their lifestyle. That's all well and good, like, because everybody has a past. But on the same token, it's like, I can't imagine ever wanting to be a part of that because obviously, first of all, that just shows me that you're irresponsible. That's number one. Correct. And number two, where do I even fit into all of this? So I'm like, by baby, like,
or you don't want kids, how do you fit into that?
Right, and also like, by baby mama number 6, 7, like nobody was asking questions. Everybody was fine with this. Like baby mama number 8 was cool. I have questions for the women. I have questions. I definitely have questions for the women. The one who's
pregnant now, the most recent one that's pregnant, she already had a kid with him.
Enough. What?
He goes and have
more children.
I want to say it was, don't quote me, but I want to say it was 2 or 3 in between. And you're gonna have another one. And you're gonna have another one with him?
something is really strange
It's
about this
dollar.
whole
None of
arrangement.
these women care for him. I think Mariah, well, of course they were married. I think Mariah and maybe the one after were
Hmm.
probably only ones who genuinely there was some love and some feelings involved, right? But the rest of these women, he's not even with them long enough to say that it's love because some of these hoes was working on Wild 'N Out, and that's why they're no longer
Hmm.
on there. Because
Yeah.
you're the mother of his kids, you no longer need to work on this damn show. You're probably gonna be getting more money than what you was making on the damn show anyway, because now you got his baby, and he's gonna take care of home at least financially.
For now. For now.
But
Because
also,
things
let's not forget
happen.
he has health issues.
Yes. So that's
What if he
why
has a
I'm
flare
low
up
key.
again?
Yeah, so I'm low key, like I was joking, but I'm also low key serious. Like, are you trying to breed for a kidney that you might need in the future? Like, is this what this is about? Like, you're trying to open up your chances for survival? Because if so, that is really that's it's kind of sick.
Yeah, because when he
And
was,
also with all your money, I'm sure that they could bump you up on the list, sir,
yeah.
if you really need it.
And my thing is, when he was still with Mariah, I remember he had Wild 'N Out. He was doing America's Got Talent. He had the radio show.
Yes.
It was something else he had. Like Nick
What
had
didn't he
multiple.
wasn't he like in the C-suite of Nickelodeon too?
He was doing stuff with them. He still was trying to dibble and dab into acting.
Acting,
So
yeah.
he has had multiple jobs. He had that flare up. I can't forget what his issue was, but he had that flare up. I remember seeing that
You know
beautiful.
what happened? He made a borderline anti-Semitic comment, and
Uh,
Viacom dropped him. See, back to X. He made
right.
a borderline anti-Semitic comment, but then he did his penance, and they kind of like slowly brought him back into the fold with a few things. So like he brought back Wild 'N Out, and I believe that he's hosting the Masked Singer
He's
as
hosting the
well,
Masked Singer.
which is also under the Viacom umbrella.
He better hope that his health doesn't flare up before, because that's how he got rid of the radio show. He better
Mm-hmm.
hope that his health doesn't flare up, because if he has to decrease his jobs, how is he going to provide the life he needs to provide? Because let's be clear, Nick Cannon is probably going to have to work until he drops dead.
Either
Because
that, or
he's
he's going to have some absolutely amazing investments somewhere.
gonna have to, gonna have
Because
to.
there's no way. There's
And you
like it's
ain't want to, and you
impossible.
don't want to slow down. Girl, watch. What is this? This is October 26th.
2026, 2022. Mm-hmm.
By January 1st. I guarantee you, somebody else gonna be pregnant. I
I'm
feel
not even gonna bet against you on that because I know I'm gonna lose. I'm
that
going to lose that bet. So you know what? I am not gonna argue with you when you're right, sir. Mm-mm, not worth it. I will not argue when you're right. Somebody, because he was talking about slowing down, and then like baby number 10, 11 popped up. I'm like, I don't think he's serious.
the man, because I remember he had this trial run of having his own talk show, right? And I
Yes.
remember him. I used to watch it because I do find him entertaining. And I remember, unfortunately, one of his kids had died.
Yes.
And so I remember him talking about that. And part of his grief, he talked about how he wanted to be abstinent and he wanted to slow down. But then that lasted but every bit of a few months, sir, because then somebody else got
Got
pregnant.
pregnant.
And more people has to continue to get pregnant. At
Since
what
then.
point do you want to stop?
Something, yeah, again, something is going on in the ether with that one.
And then
Is
the
that
names that he are giving these kids. Let's pull them up for a second. Give me a second. Because
I'm trying not to laugh because it's not their fault. It's not the baby's fault. They didn't get
us
it.
colors. Us colors kill
But
me.
we really need to stop.
Because we will give these people, we will give our kids name that I feel is setting them up for failure.
Every single time.
You're pretty much limiting your kid in regards to what they can do as a profession.
Yeah.
You are not going to
Sad but
be a
true.
preacher, a teacher, a doctor, or a lawyer with some of these damn names. Let me pull up Nick Cannon kids. Girl, okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're missing 2 of them. Okay. So you have Zen, which that's the one that died, unfortunately. So rest in peace to him. We know about Morocco and Monroe, those Mariah kids. So I'm gonna leave them alone. I like those names. A boy is called Golden. Yes, girl. Then you have a girl. Her name is Powerful Queen Candy.
Then he was
Powerful,
what?
powerful is her first name.
Mhm.
Queen is something that Queen is fine, whatever. Powerful. Who finna walk around and call your child powerful? Then legendary is the child first. Legendary love. That's the first and middle name. Then you have Zion, which I like that one. Then you have
Oh no.
girl.
What's
This
this one?
girl. This sound like a fucking cocktail on a drink. This one is called Onyx Ice Cold Canyon. Girl, I'm gonna screenshot this and send it to you. Onyx,
I
Onyx Ice Cold
I.
Canyon.
Onyx Ice Cold Cannon. That's their legal government.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Zillion Air.
Stop it.
No,
Two separate words?
two separate words, girl. Zillion Air. And air is the H-E-I-R.
Stop.
I lie to you not.
Father God. Father God. Jesus. Oh Lord.
So the girl who is pregnant now, she was the mother of the one that died. So this is actually her third kid with Nick Cannon, but second that, yeah.
Oh.
So,
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
girl, ain't no way in hell.
Like, what is even the conversation? Hey, girl, you want to have my baby? Okay. Like, what's the?
Probably so, because when you think about it, a lot of them worked on Wild 'N Out.
That is
So
true.
this is literally probably he wants to have all these kids. So he's going out recruiting. Like when a recruiter go coach players for the goddamn NBA, he's going out recruiting mothers.
And what's really interesting is that none of them have anything to say to the other one. Like, you never hear about any of them arguing. So I'm like, are all y'all friends?
Girl,
Are all of you buddy? But
who knows? Who knows? But I'm pretty sure there's a conversation. I'm
there
pretty
has to
sure
be,
that
because
there
there's
are
no
some
way.
arrangements. Because let me tell you something: ain't no man, ain't no woman gonna be a part of this situation, and you ain't got no drama. Nobody has talked bad about him.
Mm-hmm.
These women are continuing to have babies with him. Whatever agreement and conversation they have, it has to be top tier because you're getting no pushback from these women or
There's
nothing
got
at all.
there's got to be a lawyer involved. Like,
Oh,
somebody
there's
signed a
paperwork.
paper.
Yeah,
There has to be.
there's
There's no way.
Mm-mm. Baby, all kind of contracts. Cause remember when Michael Jackson had his contract with the white woman?
That's
Oh, I'm
right.
sure Nick Cannon got some kind of contract.
Yeah, because they got divorced and she like disappeared into thin air. Did not
Correct.
see that woman. Did not see her ever again.
Nope. And when he died, she couldn't come. She could not try to get nothing. Stuff was left for those kids, but I think it was the mama or Janet, whoever was the executor of the stuff, they
I want to
rationed it out.
say,
Was
yeah,
it
I
the
want to say that it was his
cat
mother had custody of the children. I want to say that his lawyers were executors of the
of the
estate.
state? Okay.
Yeah, like this, like I don't, yeah, which, I mean, makes sense. Yeah, the mother got custody of the kids, and then for a while, and then funny enough, I'm actually wearing a necklace from the uncle that took custody of the children when Catherine got too sick. Funny enough,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's
the nephew
good.
that stepped in. So
I like
that
that.
but that was a whole complicated arrangement because like yeah, she like disappeared into thin air, like you never saw her again,
Some
which
kind
was
of
very
nurse. I think her name
interesting.
was Debbie. She was some kind of nurse named Debbie.
Mm-hmm. I think she worked for like the dermatologist office that he went to or
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Which lifestyles of the rich and famous. I don't have that kind of money, so I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned
At
way.
all. At all.
But hopefully not be like the fourth or fifth woman in the queue. God
Listen.
willing.
What do you do? How did you apply for the loan forgiveness with Biden?
Yes, I did. Of course,
Oh,
I
okay.
did.
I was gonna say, girl, I hope you forgot. I
Oh,
hope you remember to sign out.
listen. These loans are not going to pay themselves. I will at this point, like I will take whatever little chump change you want to throw at me to make this easier for me.
Hello.
By all means. Oh yeah, I filled that out
Please run me to
expeditiously.
20K. Please run me to 20K, but I'll take
Yeah,
the 5 or 10.
something.
I'll take 5 or 10.
So, listen, I will. It's better than zero.
Mhm.
I will take what you. I will take it.
You're
That's
right.
fine with me.
Is there anything going on in the media that stands out to you that is like this is ridiculous, this is horrible? Outside of Brittney Griner, my heart still breaks for her though. But
That is what I wanted to talk about. It's like this woman is like it's just over something so stupid to us, but you just have to remember with those countries, like you cannot be caught slipping at all. You can't.
That's when
And
you.
it's like, and again, I just want to ask, where the heck were her people to be like, hey, let's leave this at home for this time? Okay.
But here's the thing, and I didn't realize this until recently, was that, of course, we know the WNBA, they don't make nowhere near as much money as the men.
No, not even a little, not even, no, barely a fraction.
Right. And so a lot of these WNBA players, you're not getting paid during the summer. There's not these, you know, Candace Parker and some of these others, they have the big endorsement deals and other income that they're bringing in. But a lot of them, they're not able to subsidize their income in between seasons. So a lot of them go and play overseas. And so she was going every summer to play for Russia. So that's why I don't understand how they treat her like this when she's been over here every summer playing for y'all.
Well, they don't care.
At all.
Clearly they do not care. And but unfortunately they're trying to make an example out of her. And it's sucked. And I feel awful for her family and for her loved ones. But I'm like surprised that, well, no, I'm not really surprised that nothing has been really done yet of note. Because I know that had it been anybody else, I think you know where I'm going with this, they would have been home by now. They'd have been
a long time ago. They'd have threatened a damn war to bring their asses back. It's ridiculous. And I felt so bad for her because her daughter, excuse me, Lord, her wife made a comment that I guess just to kind of hopefully cheer her up or maybe kind of help time pass by, whatever that would look like for her. They had asked her, is she able to play basketball? Because you know you play basketball when you're in jail. Not that I know, but you know, we've seen basketball courts. They do have them in jails. And they were saying she hadn't been playing basketball. And so her attorneys the wife had asked the attorneys if they could get her a basketball. And she turned it down because she said it's too heartbreaking.
Oh
She
my
said
God.
because, and Brittney loves basketball. I don't know if you know her story or follow sports. This girl has been good at basketball for a long time. So she has been very dedicated to the sport. And it's too heartbroken, she stated, because basketball is the reason why she's even there. Had she not needed to play in Russia, she'd never been in Russia, shouldn't have been in a situation. So right now, basketball is very traumatizing for her. My heart broke for her as a fan of the sport. My heart broke for her as a fan of hers, knowing how much she was dedicated to the game of basketball. And now, God knows for how long, probably for the rest of your life, basketball is now going to be a very traumatizing sore spot for her. That
just
is horrible.
killed her joy for the game, and that's the oof.
Yeah. My heart broke for her when I read that.
I'm just hoping to God that there's like some miracle that happens that she's able to get out of there, because that can't be good for her health. Like if she's not doing the one thing that she loves, she is not in a good place at all.
Hello. Yeah, it's horrible. And who knows, you know, of course, like you said, they're not in no rush. They talked about swapping them out for the arms dealer that's
right
in prison here. And they're like, oh, maybe they'll get to by the end of the year. What? Should have been home 6 months ago. That way she was, you know, yeah. Yeah.
God. Whew.
Jasmyn,
what a time.
I appreciate you. This was
Thank
fun
you for having me.
Yes, I look forward to having you back. Thank you for coming on down and visiting us. And I wish you all the best. Hope you have a good rest of your week.
You too, my love. And I look forward to hopefully coming back again soon.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, sunshine.
All right. Bye, love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for the zone today. We are officially shutting it down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, remember this. You will burn too brightly for some. Keep shining. They can wear sunglasses.